Hey everyone, Lucky here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Week 2 team builder and battle for WPF Season 7 versus JK41 and his route to Rattatas. Before I get into this video, again, as you can see, it's a little bit rough with Christmas and all of the stuff going on around the holidays, and then also me having some new guitar toys I wanted to try out. I didn't have a chance to go ahead and make some nice clean graphics that would be good for a team builder and the battle, so it'll be kind of a similar format to last week in that most everything's just going to be the showdown and desktop. Um, Another thing about this is that this team builder is actually recorded after the battle is done, so as you'll see in a second when I pull up the team, I'm actually just my opponent's team. I'm actually just taking a snipping tool rather than going to the spreadsheet because I don't want to spoil the results, even though most of you probably already know what happened in the battle. So with that being said, let's bring up JK's team, and he has a team of this was the funky team with a lot of tier threes, um, but he has a team of Mega Scizor, Volcanion, Flygon, Whimsicott, Ditto, Lycanroc, Dusk, Xurkitree, Mesprit, Crobat, Reggie, Gigas, and Dusknoir. So, first of all, going to this team, I don't think either of its tier 5s are coming. I don't think Reggie Gigas is coming, and I don't think Dusknoir is coming. And even if they do come, they're I think they're not too much of a threat to deal with. The big threats I'm looking at are Volcanion, um, and Xurkitree because they can deal with Corviknight, who otherwise might be an issue. Mega Scizor's always a threat to set up, and then Lycanroc Dusk is also annoying because of my Mega Charizard Y. Besides that, I kind of expect Ditto to deal with um, the potential Garchomp setting up and scale shots and such. And Mesprit's a possibility because I believe it's his only rock. Well, Lycanroc, Dusk, and Mesprit are his only rockers, so one of those for sure is coming, if not both, because of my Charizard. And yeah, I think, and Flygon also has a chance to come, I think, because of my Tapu Koko, and that's his only electric immunity. So, with that being said, let's get into my team. So, again, this team was actually built about, I don't know, half an hour before the battle. So normally I kind of like to go in depth and make sure some of my EVs are very well placed and make sure they all make sense and do something. But this one was, uh, for the most part, just a lot of, 252, 252, or in the case of you'll see the first Pokemon Lycanroc, just enough for speed creeping. That's the amount of EVs and calcs I went into. So, Lycanroc, I'm bringing Choice Band. It was either a band or Scarf because when you look at his team, which I'll pull up again real quick, his only rock resist is that Flygon. So, Banded Stone Edge and Banded Excel Rock are doing a lot of damage. Um, and with that, rocks are also good for against his team. And then for the Flygon, which is the only thing that resists Stone Edge, I have the Play Rough to hopefully hit it hard, and it outspeeds. So I was between Scarf and Band for this spawn this week, but I decided on Band just to get that extra oomph and extra power. Um, yeah, the last slot I almost brought Fire Fang for the Mega Scizor, but I realized that it's probably just going to bullet punch me if I'm in on it, and I would have to predict it to come in, and Stone Edge is Banded Stone Edge is still doing a chunk to his Mega Scizor. So I thought that Stealth Rocks overall would be better for the team because with the chip it would help out as well. So I said I was considering Lichen Rock for Scarfer. Instead, I went with Choice Scarf Cocoa again. Modest Choice Scarf Cocoa. It's basically the same set as last week. I swear I'm not going to run this set every week, but it just worked out nicely because, again, T-Bolt hits everything on his team except the Flygon, so that's good. And then Gleam is there for the Flygon. Um, I originally had U-Turn and Volt Switch again, um, but I decided that um, all I needed was U-Turn. Volt Switch would have been nice to get that stab and Powerful Electric, but U-Turn I can always pivot out. And after last week and realizing that, if Corviknight goes down, then I don't have another Defogger. I also have Defog on there to help with Mega Charizard Y, because other than his Volcanion, Charizard Y ends up doing a whole lot of damage to this team. So offensively. So I wanted to make sure to be able to keep that as healthy as possible. So, I've mentioned Volcanion before. This Suicune is my main Volcanion switch-in. It's a pseudo Crocoon with the Scald, Tom Mine, and Rest. Instead of Sleep Talk, though, because he does have that Volcanion with Water Absorb, I put Toxic on it, which I thought was my best bet to go ahead and take care of that Volcanion. Hopefully, if you'd see me come in, set up a Calm Mind or whatever, or come in on him and think he's safe to stay in, and I'll just click the Toxic, and once Volcanion's on a timer, then Suicune can do a lot of work to his team, because other than Volcanion, the only thing that really could take a Scald is Whimsicott, and Whimsicott's not the bulkiest, and so just after I set a few Calm Minds, Whimsicott, I don't have to worry too much about. Plus, I could always Toxic the Whimsicott as well. So I'm not usually a big fan of Toxic Stall, but you know, it's not specifically for Toxic Stalling for this Suicune. The Suicune is a set more designed to just be able to get rid of the things that, the one thing that Scald can't hit. So, next I have my Garchomp, which, again, basically just enough speed to outspeed that Flygon, and Garchomp can do a lot of work to this team. I have Scale Shot and Earthquake. Scale Shot to boost the speed and be a stab. Earthquake is a strong stab that hits a lot of his team. I was between with Fire Fang and Swords Dance. I was between Substitute for one of those because of the Ditto, which could be annoying. Um, but then I realized I kind of need the Fire Fang for Mega Scizor, and I wanted the Swords Dance just for boosting. Um, I also figure that the Ditto's probably Scarfed, and so if I switch in or if I get a skill shot up with Garchomp, he comes in as the Garchomp. Skill shot might not even kill, but even if he clicks skill shot and it kills, then that gives me a free switch into my Tapu Koko. So Ditto could be an issue, but I wasn't too concerned about it. Overall, if Garchomp gets up a scale shot, it's have a good chance to sweep. Otherwise, depending on the situation of the team, I could always go. The wrong thing, I could always go to that. I could always just get a Swords Dance if things that needed to are gone. Swords Dance first and then Scale Shot. Garchomp's overall a pretty good suit for this team. Now, for my breaker, I have Mega Charizard Y. Basically outspeeds the Flygon, can end up doing a lot of damage. Here I have Fire Blast just for the most damage, Scorching Sands to hit that Volcanion, Roost because it's always nice to be able to recover some health, especially with being so weak to rocks. And then I have Flame Charge. Now, I do know that Lycanroc is a thing, and that Accelerock is a thing. and that will just kill me. But I think between Suicune, Garchomp, and Corviknight, I have decent switch-ins to that Excel Rock, and so if I can get rid of the Lycanroc, a Flame Charge could be something that could be useful for me to go ahead, get a +1 speed boost, and then just does a lot of damage. Like like Suicune, Corviknight's similar to a somewhat like common set, except one move's different. Usually like a bulk up Brave Bird set's pretty common, but then I have the Defog on there to help out with the Mega Charizard Y, Max Spadef just because I'm going to bulk up and just get that defense boost and get as bulky as possible. I ended up putting Waconberry on here because I thought that there's a chance that, unlikely, but a chance that I like staying on Xurkitree if it volt switches or whatever. I figure I'm more likely to staying on Xurkitree than Volcanion, just because I have a really safe switch into Volcanion in Suicune. Whereas Xurkitree is a little bit harder to switch into. I could switch it into the Garchomp, but it gets Gleam. So that was my thinking with that. I only have Brave Bird as attacking move because when you look at his team, he has 2 flying resists, which are the Xurkitree and Lycanroc, and neither of those, I guess Ditto if it transforms into Corviknight, but neither of those are super bulky, and if he does transform into Corviknight with Ditto, I mean, I beat a Ditto Corviknight 1v1 because, assuming it's the Scarf, because it can't roost off, whereas I can bulk up and roost off the damage and get ahead of it stat-wise. So, that's the team. With that, I will get into the battle. Alright, here we are with the battle. So from team preview, first thing I'm seeing is, oh cool, no Flygon. Like, that Thunderbolts are free. Oh man, I should have just brought Volt Switch. Then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, no Mega Scizor. That's great. That thing was scary. So, I figure he'll probably want to get rocks up early, but similar to last week where I said maybe the play could have been, um, you know, I led Charizard Y, maybe a safer play would have been to go ahead and lead the Coco and pivot out and then get the Charizard Y, because I still get it in safely if they set up rocks, and I could do a little bit of chip damage or get momentum, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and lead my Coco as he leads his Mesprit, and I think he's going to get up rocks. I'm just going to go ahead and get a U-turn off and switch into my Charizard Y, and he tries to use Trick, which obviously doesn't work because I am a Mega. So I'm thinking right now that he's probably like some sort of maybe Scarf set. I'm not sure. I think he's probably a choice item that he was trying to trick onto something, but I'm not positive. So here I'm just going to go ahead and click Fire Blast. I figure that Volcanion might be the switch in, but I don't want to risk clicking the Scorching Sands and Mesprit staying in at this point in the game. I think it's a little bit too early to get started with over predictions, so I'm just going to click Fire Blast and should still do a decent amount of damage. And that does nothing. So I go ahead and run my calcs. I'm like, okay, that is Assault Vest, max HP. So I'm thinking, okay, it's Assault Vest, max HP, Volcanion. I'm going to go ahead, just get a little bit chip, hit it with a Scorching Sands. I should be able to take whatever he throws at me, even a Steam Eruption because of the sun. So yeah, that doesn't do much, but it's a decent amount of chip. And he gets the Fire Blast, and oh, that does a lot, and that is a high roll. That's going to be a little bit of theme this game, is high rolls on Charizard. Yeah, so I'm like, well, I cannot stay in here. I'll just go into my safe Suicune switch in, which is exactly what I do as he doubles out into Whimsicott. I think I go for a Toxic here just to try to get some damage off it, as it paralyzes me. Have fun. Oh, yeah, so I get fully paralyzed. That's annoying. So here I'm like, hey, I'm going to try to get a Toxic off on you, which I do. Now, seeing as I'm at 51 or 57%, and that last energy ball did 49, I figure I could live another one and get off a rest to become healthy. As long as I don't get paralyzed again, which is a chance. I didn't calc it, so I don't know. Maybe it could have. Maybe that 49 was a low roll and he could have killed. I don't know. But after the Toxic, he switches out, and I go for the rest. Don't get paralyzed, thank God, and I'm up to full health. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to burn Sleep turns. He missed the Fire Blast. I don't know how much that really mattered. Wouldn't have done too much damage. So, yeah. So here, I'm expecting, as I said, I'm expecting the Mesprit to be choiced, and might want to trick something like a Choice Scarf onto my Suicune, which would that hurt the set quite a bit. So knowing that my Coco is Scarfed, I'm like, hey, I'll go switch into the Coco for this. He does get rocks up like I thought. I'm like, I don't like these rocks. I'm gonna defog as he U-turns into Ditto. Now I assume that he's just going to go ahead and go for a U-turn here. I don't think he's going to go straight up for a Gleam. He's either going to go for a Thunderbolt or a U-turn, so I'm going to switch to my Garchomp and, I don't know, see how that goes. Get a little chip with the rough skin. Garchomp, he does U-turn. I get a little chip off. Now he goes to Mesprit, which is an interesting thing. The fact that he doesn't go to Whimsicott makes me think that maybe he doesn't have Moonblast on it? I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go ahead here and see what I can do and click the Scale Shot. And get 3 hits, decent amount. And he goes for Psyshock. And I'm like, oh, well, that's... don't know if I can maybe live the next one, but then Ditto just comes in. I'm like, I would prefer a healthy Garchomp. It deals with the Volcanion. Yeah. So I'm gonna switch out here. I did a calc. I knew a Charizard could take another Psyshock, and then I'd hopefully be able to roost it off. She actually goes for the rocks here, so I'm glad I switched in when I did. And so I do end up going for a roost. Now I have Charizard Y versus Charizard Y. Here, I maybe make a little bit of a misplay. I'm like, hey, I'm going to boost it and get the speed tie. I probably should have just gone for 2 Fire Blasts, but whatever. That's also the 55%. Again, that's the highest roll possible he got on my Charizard. That's unfortunate. And I'm pretty sure I get a low roll here, which I don't think I would have killed, but still, it's a little bit frustrated that I got like the highest roll and then lowest roll, whatever. Here, like in Rock, I'm just going to... I think about it for a little bit. Overall, I think the safest play is just to click Excel Rock, because there's... First of all, he's probably Scarfed, so can outspeed. Second of all, there's a chance that Stone Edge misses, which that would be bad. And third, the only thing at this point that can really take an Excel Rock or 2 Excel Rocks is the Whimsicott. And so 2 Band Excel Rocks is Whimsicott. So it's a pretty safe move. And at this point, I'm thinking, especially no Flygon, I'm like, wow, Lycanroc can just win this game with Excel Rock. So do that. I'm like, I know it can win. I need to get this out of here to make sure it survives and can come out to clean in the end of the game. So Corviknight's a really safe switch in to Whimsicott. And now that Charizard is gone, I don't have to worry about rocks as much. So yeah, as you can see, that does nothing. And it's getting worn down by Toxic. I expect like the Volcanion to come in maybe? I don't know. I just click the Brave Bird. Here I don't know what's happening. I can live, at this point, I can live a fire blast from Volcanion at full, so I'm trying to get as full as possible, so that's what I do. And I get hit with the lagging tail. It's not what I was expecting, but okay. U-turn, that does pitiful damage. Here I click Brave Bird, and yeah, kill that. Cool. So here comes the Volcanion, which, yeah, I could live, but I don't think I'm doing enough damage, and at this point, the only thing that worries me is maybe a Tough Claws banded uh, Lycanroc. So I'm like, yeah, I need Corviknight around for that Lycanroc, and Suicune's a great switch into this Volcanion. So that's exactly what I do. Volcanion, going to Suicune, that does not much damage at all. So here I go in Suicune. I wake up, and he switched out to Crobat. Damn it. Well, this is gonna be a fun thing, cause yeah. So he gets Toxic on Suicune. Like, oh boy, this is fun. But luckily I can rest it off, which I wanted to do as fast as possible. So I rest. And yeah. So this is going to go through a series of things throughout this game of me trying to figure out with my sleep turns and waking up of, am I going to go for Toxic and try to get Volcanion? Am I going to click a Scald and hit the Crobat because I don't want Volcanion to heal up with the Scald? He Toxics me again. I think I go for Rest here. And this is just a pattern that's going to go on for a while. Rest. Yay. Rest. Again. Trick. What did he trick onto me? Oh, he gets my leftovers away so I don't recover as much. That's cool. Here I just Scald it to be faster. Hey, dead. Now this is going to go the same thing. I thought he might double into Volcanion here. Toxic maybe would have been the play, but whatever. So here I'm thinking that he might try to switch to get the Crobat in on a Toxic. So I Scald again. And here I'm like, well, this time he's got to switch to Crobat. He does. That's a lot of damage. Here I go and Scald again. It wasn't going to do much to the healed Volcanion much more than it already was. So yeah, so that does nothing. And got the Toxic. So yeah, so now I just get to sit here and wait until that thing goes down. Miss the Steam Eruption. That's not, I mean, it's not a huge deal. Hey, another Calm Mind. So I expect the Toxic coming here, but I'm just going to go ahead and Scald, kill that off. Cool. So now Whimsicott comes in, hits you with the Energy Ball. Doesn't do a lot. I rest because I don't want the Toxic to tick down. And yeah, then he goes into Lycanroc here, which I'm a little surprised about, but it's fine. Clicks Outrage, which I guess was to hit the Garchomp. I'm not sure why he clicked Outrage and not maybe he didn't even have Stone Edge. Maybe that was his most powerful move to hit me. Anyways, that does enough that I'll be able to live another one, and this is when I should wake up. So I can wake up and kill the Lycanroc. And at this point, it's game. My Lycanroc will clean up no matter what. The Whimsicott can't do a lot. So I'm just going to rest and pull this off. I hate... I'm sorry about the end. I don't like Toxic stalling. I'm just going to run this fast because that's basically what this is. It's just going to be a lot of... Both of his last two mons are Toxic. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle between, rest, calm mind, and waiting until the Toxic call is. I'm not a fan of Toxic stalling. It's annoying strategy. It's a little bit scummy, but at this point, I have the game won. I'm gonna preserve it, and I'm like, I'll just let this Toxic tick out. I actually can't hit the Volcanion with Suicune, so the only way would be to switch out, but I don't want something to just die for no reason. So yeah, overall, I'm fairly happy with this game, especially with the not as much prep effort as I could have put into it. Suicune did a lot more than I thought it would. Um, but yeah, that was, I mean, good game, JK. I'm sure it'll get me back in the rematch. But yeah, again, I apologize for the toxic stalling at the end, but uh, that was just what I had to do at that point. And Suicune couldn't really touch the Volcanion, so I wish. I mean, this is one of the few things I like hidden powers in the game because you can do some funky stuff with weird coverage moves. It would have been nice to have, like, I don't know, I guess like hidden power ground or something like that for the Suicune to hit, or hidden power electric. I don't know, something to hit the Volcanion, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe at the end I'll run like a sandstorm weather ball on Suicune to hit the Volcanion, so I don't have to toxic style. I don't know. But good game, and we will see you guys next week. Hopefully next week I will have some nicer graphics and a nicer layout for the game.